Hello everyone. So today I'm going to discuss about pharmacoeconomics. First coming to the introduction. So health economics is the science of assessing cost and benefit of healthcare, and it is a branch of economics which concerned with issues which related to efficiency, then effectiveness, value, and behavior in the production and consumption of health and healthcare. Then coming to pharmacoeconomics. So pharmacoeconomics is a branch of health economics which compares the value of one drug or a drug therapy to another. So basically pharmacoeconomics identify, measure and compare the cost and consequences of drug therapy to healthcare system, because due to the high price of drug it is very essential in pharmaceutical industry, government and in the private sector for comparing various cost consequences. Then coming to pharmacoeconomic analysis. So pharmacoeconomic analysis involves the economic evaluations of pharmaceuticals. It involves choosing a perspective, then identifying and measuring the cost and identifying and measuring consequences. Then coming to perspective of evaluation. So common perspective includes uh, patient perspective, then provider perspective, peers perspective, then society perspective. So under patient perspective, the portion of cost which is not covered by insurance is under a patient perspective. Then provider perspective, example hospitals, direct costs. Then peer perspective, example insurance companies, employers or the government. Then society perspective, all direct and indirect costs. Now coming to cost. So cost involves all the resources that are used to produce and deliver a particular drug therapy. And healthcare costs are categorized as direct medical cost, then direct non-medical cost, then indirect non-medical cost, intangible cost, and opportunity cost. So first one is direct medical cost. Uh, it includes the cost related to the directly to the patient's medical care like drugs, medical supplies and equipments, laboratory and diagnostic tests, hospitalizations and physician visits. Then direct non-medical cost. So this cost not directly related to the patient medication, but these are the expenditures as a result of the illness but are not involved in the direct purchasing of medical services. For example, like transportation, then extra trip to the emergency department, child or family care expenses, special diet, and various other out of pocket expenses. Then coming to indirect cost like morbidity and mortality cost. So indirect cost defines the expense incurred for the reduction of work productivity as a result of morbidity and mortality associated with a given disease. So indirect cost consists of work loss, then worker replacement and reduced productivity from illness and disease. Then coming to intangible cost. So intangible cost is a cost which difficult to quantify. So it can be identified but it cannot be quantified or accurately estimated. And intangible costs include the decline in customer satisfaction and productivity, employee morale or reputation, etc. Then coming to opportunity cost. So opportunity cost means value of the alternate therapy that was foregone. So means like the benefit or value of something that must be given up to achieve something else. So it is called as opportunity cost. Now coming to the consequences means the outcomes. So according to WHO, outcome measures as a change in the health of an individual and group of people or population that is attributed to an intervention or series of interventions. Outcome measures mortality, then readmission, patient experience, etc. And outcomes are characterized as economic outcomes that comparing intangible cost, direct and indirect cost with the consequences of medical treatment alternatives. Then clinical outcomes is medical events that occur as a result of disease or treatment. For example, safety and efficacy endpoints. Then humanistic outcomes, these are the consequences of disease or treatment on patient functional status such as physical function, social function, general health and well-being and life satisfaction. Then counter positive outcomes. So these are a desired effect of a drug and negative outcomes. These are the adverse drug reaction or toxicity of a drug. Then intermediate outcome. So intermediate outcome can serve as a proxy for more relevant final outcomes. Then final outcome. So to get the final outcome of reduced MI rate, lipid lowering agents are being used to decrease LDL level, which is an intermediate outcome. And coming to the methodology. So there are mainly four methodologies. First one is cost minimization analysis, CMA. Second one is cost effective analysis, CEA. Third one is cost benefit analysis, CBA. And fourth one is cost utility analysis, that is CUE. So first one is cost minimization analysis. So it is the most basic technique and it involves a determination of the least costly alternative. For example, if two drugs A and B are anti-ulcer agents and equivalent in efficacy or ATR, then the cost of using this drug could be compared using CMA. Another example would be prescribing a generic preparation instead of the brand leader. Then coming to cost effective analysis. So, which is the economic evaluation whose goal is to identify, examine, and compare the relevant costs and consequences of competing drug regimens and interventions. Here, costs are expressed in monetary terms, and consequences are measured in their natural unit like cases carved, lives saved, and hospitalization prevented. And the result of C are expressed as a ratio, either as an average cost effectiveness ratio or as an incremental cost effectiveness ratio. And this is cost effectiveness grade. So it is a pharmacist's duty to ensure the therapeutic and pharmaceutical care which is not only safe and effective but it should also be cost effective for the patient uh, to improve the patient's quality of life. So here GZH refers to cost effective choices and BCF determines the not these are not cost effective. Now coming to cost benefit analysis. So here uh, it measures the cost and benefit in monetary. Here cost and benefits are measured in monetary terms and we estimate the strength and weakness of alternatives. Both the cost and the benefits are measured and converted into equivalent dollar in the year in which they will occur. And the cost and benefits are expressed as a ratio. It is benefit to cost ratio. But this approach is not widely used in health economics. Then last one is cost utility analysis. It is CUA. It is a method for comparing the treatment alternative that integrates patient preference and health regulated quality of life. It is HRQOL. So cost utility ratio equal to cost by quality. Here least cost is preferred. For example, evaluating arthritis treatment. Now coming to the guidelines for performing a pharmacoeconomic analysis. So pharmacoeconomic analysis involves 10 steps. First one is defining the problems, then determining the study's perspective, then determining the alternatives and outcomes, and selecting the appropriate pharmacoeconomic method, and placing monetary value on the outcomes, then identify study resources, and establishing the probabilities of the outcomes, and applying decision analysis. Then coming to importance of pharmacoeconomics. So pharmacoeconomics analysis helps to achieve the maximum benefit in limited cost, and the clinician want their patient to receive best care and outcome. The payers want to manage rising cost. So uh, pharmacoeconomics helps us to make decisions about the use of medications, and most of the studies are cost-effective studies uh, which demonstrate how to achieve an objective with the least use of resources. Now coming to application of pharmacoeconomics. So healthcare practitioners can benefit from applying the principle and method of pharmacoeconomics to their daily practice settings. Pharmacoeconomics aid clinical and policy decision making. Complete pharmacotherapy decisions should contain assessment of three basic outcome areas whenever appropriate. These three are economic, clinical, and humanistic outcomes. Over the past 15 to 20 years, assessment of the economic outcomes associated with a treatment alternative which become popular. Then coming to the limit of pharmacoeconomic evaluation. So health economics and pharmacoeconomics is a young science and slowly developing. And the testing its methodologies. Many problems limit the use of health economics in practice. The whole process may be open to bias in the choice of comparator drug, the assumption made, or in the selective reporting of result. And most studies are conducted or funded by pharmaceutical companies who obviously are interested in the result. So there is a publication bias towards those studies favorable to sponsoring companies. So these all are the limitations of pharmacoeconomic evaluation. And this is all about pharmacoeconomics. Thank you.